Chefs, welcome to the Chef Fit Podcast, episode 50. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I was about to say he's just a dog. You can obviously teach a dog tricks, but you can definitely teach an old dog new tricks. That is today's
Absolutely.
episode. Petey, what's happening, bro? Are we all good?
All good in the hood, Chief. What go on with you?
All good. Ticking over. We're still in pandemic season, and I suppose with the lockdown and everything that's going on, this is a very, very important podcast. You know, this is a very important episode for us, and really in a time where just everything is so negative right now. Everything is so fucking. You know, the world is ending. The walls are closing in. Donald Trump said people have died who've never died before, which is groundbreaking stuff.
It's the best since Eamon Dunphy said, no, it's too soon. There's people alive today that died in that war.
It's like, he's a fucking, Trump is an absolute maniac. How does he fucking get away with it?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we're in the midst of it anyway. And today's episode's all about really being able to make the best of a bad hand and to ultimately play the hand that you're dealt, as opposed to fucking fobbing it off and saying, oh, I can't do anything, you know? Like, in this time, this is where people are going to be tested, okay? And a lot of us, because we're off the hook and work is out, you know, and we're fucking worried about our financial situations, and we're either losing jobs or loved ones are losing jobs. It's very easy right now to fucking lose the plot, you know, and throw your toys out of the pram and let go of anything healthy or positive in your life and give into the fear and give into the shit, you know, and start obviously within your lifestyle going into very negative patterns, drinking, eating crap, you know what I mean? Like all the vices that could be there, and just generally not being in a good, positive place. That's where you could easily be. This podcast, and I suppose what we're trying to share with you, is how to circumvent that, like how to not let that shit happen, and to overcome it. So the idea is that you can teach an old dog new tricks. What does that really mean? Well, I mean, they always say that an old dog that has been fucking living in your gaff for years, you usually can't teach that thing anything new. The truth about human beings is you can, you know. And in this time where things are very, very difficult, it's very important that we understand that you have an opportunity to teach yourself new tricks. And not only teach yourself new tricks, that's not necessarily what it's about. It's about turning a negative into a positive. You know, it's about seeing what you do have as opposed to what you don't have. It's about taking action on the things within your control and disregarding the things outside your control. And the idea of doing that is to not only make yourself a better person, but to make you a happier person. And if we top off that by fucking improving our health, fan-fucking-tastic. But ultimately...
And stronger going forward then after that.
Totally. Because this is the time where you're tested. You can come out of this two ways. You know, you can come out of this pandemic and whatever time it is in the future, whether it's happening already, you know, or whether it's happening 1, 2, 3 months down the time, there will come a time where it does blow over. And hopefully we come out unscathed and we haven't lost anyone. But there's two ways you can come out of it. You can come out of it in the absolute pits of despair, worst fucking, you know, period of time in my life. Never been more stressed, depressed, or anxious. My health is in fucking rags. You know, put on 4 stone. Like, that's what could happen. Or you could come out at the other end and give yourself a pat on the back and know I did my best. You know, I did what I could. I made the best of the situation and I tried to improve life for those around me. You know, like those are the two ways you can go about this thing. And today is about getting you to come out of this thing positively. So like for you, Peter, with all the shit that's been going on, bro, like just kind of describe what, I suppose, what the lockdown and what this has been like for you in the past while and what you've done to overcome it and how you've dealt with it, as opposed to what maybe other people would normally deal with a time like this.
So we are about 2 weeks ahead of the rest of the world with the lockdown. And we had a very soft lockdown at the start, but it did happen a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but it happened before everyone else. So England just got knocked down a couple of days ago. America's still not totally there. Australia's dragging its heels, doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of days, everybody was like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And then by like the second day or the third day, it was all about people being on social media, and everyone was giving out and everything was negative and everything was, oh, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that. And I literally caught myself almost falling into that trap as well. And then like I consciously said, no, wait, I'm not going to do that. And I wrote down a couple of things for myself that I was grateful for and that I was feeling positive about. And then I shared that myself onto social media. And as I was writing this out, I was just kind of tell people, let's just chill out here for a minute. Why don't we just take the positives from it? Here's some of the positives I'm taking from this situation. This is over a week ago now. And it was just after last week's podcast. It was the day after that. And then the next day, I found myself looking at everything completely different because I changed my mindset about how I was thinking about the situation. And I was like, right, I remember there was Jocko Willink. He had this speech called Good.
Yeah.
And it was like, and that really stuck with me when I heard it. It's very powerful. It's like, right, something's gone bad. Good. He was like, talk about a military situation where his memory is shit. He was like, right, good. We're going to find a way out of this. We don't have this. Good. We're going to improvise. We're going to do something else.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset for 2 days where I purposely told myself, right, the gyms are closed. Good. I'm going to find a new way to work out. You know what I mean? And then when all of these other things are going on, I was like, right, good. How am I going to fix this? And everything that was happening, I said to myself, right, how am I going to turn this into good? And that was the word I was using, good, good, good. So I started to just get into my own swing of things and adapting with the way it was around me. I was like, right, kids are home from school. Good. I get to spend more time with the kids. Football training is cancelled. Good. I've got Thursday night now to spend with my wife because she works 2 nights, blah, blah, blah. Monday night grinds is finished. Good. Scouts is done in the afternoon. Good. Right now, all my commitments, I called them then, were finished at night time. Good. I've got every night now to myself.
Yeah.
Then the weather starts to beam. I was like, right, that's it, lads. I'm doing my workouts in the garden now.
Yeah.
Good. The gyms are closed. I haven't got the equipment. Good. I get to do new things.
Yeah.
Took up skipping. And then we all took up skipping. And then this is the way I've been going into it. And now I'm in autopilot. I have got a cheeky grin on my face all the time. All of this is going on. I'm trying to spread it as well as much as I can within my family. Another good was my mum was like, we can't have a cup of tea together. Good. Why don't we set up a Zoom for the family? And then my sisters in Mayo, my brother in Germany, we were all sitting around together having a cup of tea.
On a call, by the way, guys. So Zoom would
be
be
on a Zoom. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, like a Skype room.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got my parents. They're retired. Like this, these ones. Could you hear me? Could you hear me? One of them. Like it's a 40-minute limit. We were 5 minutes of structured conversation, and it was over. And we had to just start up and do it.
That's gas.
I mean, but this. I'm going to come out of this pandemic all the better for it. Totally. I really, really am. And it's just because of a mindset thing. Well, I did consciously have to say, no. Where's the good here? And then went, right, good, let's go. And then went with that. And then on to the next thing.
Big time.
And now I don't have to look and go, right, good. Because I'm already in that mode.
Totally. And I think that's really, really important for everyone to kind of, I suppose, decompartmentalize what Peter just said. That Jocko Willink video, it's called Good. Look it up on YouTube if you haven't watched it before. So he's a Navy SEAL, and it's a very, very good point. The guy is a fucking master of mindset. Why? Because he's a fucking, literally a warrior. He's fought in some grimacing situations and had to lead people through it, lead himself through it. And the mindset is well, you can choose to see things as a fucking bad thing, or you can choose to see things as a good thing. It's your perception and your choice what you see, and that's all the world is. And I always read very fucking old classic, philosophers from way back in Roman and Greek times, like Marcus Aurelius, the guy who was fucking Russell Crowe plays in Gladiator. Marcus Aurelius is one of the original Stoic philosophers. So he was a great warrior, but he also wrote about the mindset to navigate life and live that lifestyle. And it's like, there's no such thing as positive or negative. There's only what you think is positive or negative. And in this situation, as Peter says, it's like there's a million things you could be upset by, or you could try and see the good in things, and you should action the things that will make things good or make you feel good or make the people around you feel good. And that's the key to you getting through this fucking time. Like, how many of us have we seen on social media? Like, we're all fucking doing it. People proactively seeking, anxiety. Heard James Smith, a well-known trainer, talk about that. He's like, people online seeking anxiety, like you're proactively looking for it. My dad's a good example. My dad's in Thailand. He's a fucking, he's a chunky old man, very comfortable, fucking doesn't give a bollocks, but he spends way too much time on social media. Classic fucking, just posting shite on social media. And like, I spoke to him the other day, and he's like, this is a fucking, going off the wall with how bad things were and how I need to look after myself and look after Ella and fucking do this and do that. Some of it's coming from a place of concern. A lot of it is coming from a place of fear and just saturating yourself with the wrong shit. Like, you're just swimming in negativity and fucking headlines about how fucking this and that. Stop. That's all external. You need to stop focusing on things outside yourself and letting those external things determine where you're at internally. So Peter made a choice. It's like, here's the situation. I'm going to choose to see the fucking good in it. I'm going to use this as an opportunity. Gyms are closed. Take up skipping. In fact, not only are we going to take up skipping, I'll challenge everyone in Sheffield to take up skipping. So we all fucking have. I bought a skipping rope last week. You know what I mean? I'm skipping away. I did my rounds yesterday. I did my rounds on Monday, and I did them on Saturday. Like, we're all doing it, and it's a new skill. And I had the same thought process on Monday, even when it came to something like exercise. It's like, okay, well, I can't train as normal. I can't do jiu-jitsu, and I can't get to the gym, but it's a chance to get a new training stimulus. So I've been running way more than I normally would be. I've been seeing a chiropractor to sort my back out, so my hip has been feeling fucking better. There's all these situations where I've been able to do something new that I haven't been able to experience before. And with that in mind, it's like, you can choose to say, oh, I can't do it, or you could do something new and take from that. The other thing then is, in this situation, it's like, we can be stagnant, unhappy, or we could just seek to take action on something that will make us happy. But that's on us ultimately at the end of the fucking day. I can't stress that to people enough. Like, for you, Peter, how would you describe your household at the moment? Would you describe it as like, oh, well, fucking, it's a nightmare? Or would you describe it as like, oh, well, actually, we're doing our best and we're keeping it together?
I think we're doing better than keeping on. I think, like, I would be more in the kitchen, and then Sarge would be in the sitting room, and the boys would be up and down and in and out. But the way the Sarge, first of all, it's here on the wall. So Kilta has his school time, Killian has his school time. So there is a structured time, and I'm still in work. So we still have our normal structure inside of the household. So there's not like, just sitting around for a whole entire day and faffing off and everything. So once I get home, the kids know then that we're up and active and we're out in the garden. I challenged Killian to a ground to overhead with the kettlebells. I had a heavy one, he had the light one. It was like, right, first to 10 on each hand, and then I had them skipping as well. I have them wrestling in the garden. I just keeping everybody as active as we can. When the weather was shit in the first week, I had the kettlebell hit classes on YouTube on the big telly, and the four of us were doing it in the sitting room.
Savage.
So it's all positive. And, and then with the financial strain that this pandemic puts on everybody, we've been improvising, adapting, and overcoming as it comes along. I bake the bread, I make the stuff like that. So that's always going to be a positive thing in the house, because it's not like a chore type thing. It's, let's make some bread, and that's an event in its own, like, but in that way, €2 is going to cover bread for the whole week, like.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's everybody's buzzing here, no matter what. Like, but I'm a lot like that as well. Sources always would be giving me grief, saying, the whole world could be burning down around you, and you'll be buzzing.
That's exactly what's needed. You know what I mean? Because it's like, fuck me, you can't control that shit. Like, it doesn't. The world is burning. I always use this example with all the chefs in Sheffield. I actually did a training on it in the group the other day, and it was
That was
like,
brilliant, by the way.
yeah, like how to be the person, how to be strong when the fucking house is burning down, when you're watching your house burn down, you know. And it's a very, very good analogy. Like, within this time, what I've seen within the group, and I had to not pull people up on it because I understand it's such a difficult time to go through, myself included. You know what I mean? I'm on the other side of the fucking planet from my
Of
family,
course.
you know, businesses up in the air, you know, relationship, you know, fucking living in the gaff and all the, like, there's so much going on. But I noticed in the group that there was this giving into fear that was going on. There was this making things worse than they need to be attitude to some of the chefs. And I had to just, you know, not that I blame them for it at all, but I just had to put them on the right track and say, listen, you know, the house is burning down right now. So a lot of you are either on reduced pay, lost your jobs, getting paid by the government now, you know, whatever it is. That's the situation. And your house is burning down. You're standing outside the house looking at the thing burning down with your family, proverbially. I'm not saying literally. And you have a choice. Everyone in that situation is going to go, fuck. You know, everyone's going to go, oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? This is a bit shit. But there's two choices to be made in that situation. And you can choose to then go, my house is burning down. My life is over. This next 3 months could be the end of me. It could be the end of my family. Fuck, 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 fuck. And you start panicking. And when you start panicking and you stop breathing and you start seeing everything as a negative, what that does is it stops you from being able to do anything positive. Notice how positive Peter was about this time that he's having, because in that space of positivity and keeping a fucking, you know, a mindset where he's like, no, I can actually do some things, and I can actually make myself happy doing certain things. Understand that that opens him up to more options that are positive. Whereas if you were to just go, I don't have fucking income, she doesn't have income, the kids are in the fucking gaff, how am I going to feed them? How am I going to make a living in the future? Fuck this industry, this is a nightmare, this is a nightmare, this is a nightmare. Well, in that headspace, how do you think you're actually going to fucking circumvent the problem? You're not. You're going to get swallowed whole. You're going to watch the house burn down and you're going to burst into tears, and your kids are going to have to fucking pick you up off the ground. And the reality is, when you're leader of your own tribe, you can fucking, like, that's bullshit, in my opinion. That is bullshit. You should be the dependable one. You should be the fucking one who's strong. You should be the beacon of light in the fucking dark in this time for the people, especially for the people who depend on you. Especially for the people who depend on you. Can't stress that enough. You know, and to all the chefs, it was a bit of a like,
Oh,
oh,
calm. And for those listening in the car on the way home, I'm leaning forward. House is burning down around you. Good. Yeah, good. I'm going to build a new house. I'm going to build a better house. And I'm going to be an example for my kids. There you go. They're going to see how I handle this situation. My wife's going to see how I handle. The kids are going to see how me and my wife handle this situation. And that's what I said at the start of this. I'm going to come out of this the better, because I said, good, let's go. And well, I'm always harping on about this, but you have to adapt to the new normal. And this is another new normal.
Totally. And I think, you know, as you understand that and getting a bit more practical now, like, you got to bear in mind, guys, regardless of this virus, if you're stagnant, you're unhappy. If you're stagnant, you're unhappy. Okay? Now, you'll get to a certain point in your life, like we were talking about this before, about learning new skills and new tricks. Like, this is a time for reading books. This is a time for, you know, jumping on, like, there's 1,000,001 fucking course. Like, think of something that you're interested in. You can do courses online. You can do there's free fucking courses. Like, Udemy is a site, Udemy. There's fucking free courses on everything you can think of on there. Do you know what I mean? You can pay for courses if you have the cash for it. Like, it's a chance to learn something new. It's a chance to do things that maybe you haven't done before. You know, your fucking spare room, you've been meaning to paint it, or you've been meaning to go out the back garden and do this to the fucking garden, or weed it, or plant this, and, you know, start growing vegetables. Like, we all have things that we would like to do that we haven't gotten around to. It's like, you have an opportunity to do that now. And you'll make a choice going, oh, the world's so fucking shit, it's so bad, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, yeah, it might be shit, but you're making it worse by thinking everything is fucked. And it's good. By thinking everything is fucked, you're going to sit in your gaff in panic mode, like you're waiting for the fucking bombs to drop overhead and you're waiting in your bomb shelter, as opposed to being out and just trying to make the best of it. Because ultimately, if you have this mindset of, number one, I'm too old to learn something new. Number two, things are too shit. My headspace isn't right. Like, in that place, you're massively stagnant. And that stagnation will lead you to be unhappy. Because humans, men especially, you need growth. Like, you need to be pushing forward with something. Yeah. And the only thing that's kind of keeping you stuck in that place of stagnation is, number one, your mindset to thinking things are overly negative. Number two, being complacent. Being complacent, like thinking that, it's fucking grand. It's grand. It's grand. I don't need to do fuck all. But if you don't do fuck all for 2 weeks, I guarantee you where you're going to be is heavily depressed, heavily anxious, and probably physically in the worst place you've ever been in. That's where you're going to end up as a result of your complacency. So the ego is what tells you that that's fine. Your ego will go, if you tell yourself, well, fucking, like there's a virus, there's an epidemic going on. Like, I don't need to do something. Like, that's complacency. That's thinking that there's nothing to be done. And your ego will then tell you, it's like, it's fine. Just you don't need to do anything, right? If you let yourself do that, it's fucking game over. It really is. It's game over. You need to be able to get yourself into a structure every single day of fucking waking up. If it's doing some form of exercise, it's like, look at every dickhead on Instagram putting up body weight workouts. It's like, just go and rob one, go and look at one of them, go and YouTube it. Like, do some form of exercise every day. With the nutrition, it's not that, like, it's not going to be ideal. People are broke. I know for me, it's the same idea. I don't have money. Number one, there isn't fucking T-bone steaks on the shelf right now. Number two, don't have the money for them. So, like, for me, yeah, sure, I might be eating a bit more bread than I normally would, but I'm not just sitting there eating shit all fucking day. I'm not drinking from the middle of the fucking day. Pick your battles. When it comes to
It's not a fucking holiday.
Yeah, it's not a holiday. That's a really important thing to bear in mind. It's a time to connect. It's a time to learn. It's a time to spend time with fucking loved ones. But don't treat it as a holiday, because it's not a holiday. You're at home. Like, if you were in Spain and you were going out in the fucking balcony and sipping a glass of champagne, great. But the reality is you're not. And if you treat it like a holiday, you're going to get cabin fever. Stuck in the gaff, feeling like shit, and just not like, giving yourself that instant gratification, that way out in the short term, but it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make you happy. I can't stress that to you enough. And ultimately, it's using the principles. So what I mean by using the principles is within Chef Fit, there's a couple of things that we live by that never fail. They never fail. And that the first principle is responsibility. So responsibility, like taking ownership of your life. Now, when we say that, we don't necessarily explain what it means. So we'll explain exactly what it means right now. This is your responsibility. Your responsibility in this time, when everything is fucking going wrong, is to be the one who makes it go right. That's your responsibility, okay? Every one of us as an individual has that on our shoulders. Now, we can choose to ignore it and make our situation shit as a result, or we can choose to step up, make it better for ourselves, make it better for the people around us, and maybe spread a message of positivity. That's the responsibility. Why is that responsibility there? Well, ultimately, if you have a family, especially if you have a family, it's like you're the leader of that tribe. And if the leader of the tribe is terrified and scared and not doing fuck all and living a very negative life, you're setting a shit example. And that shit example will only lead to more shittiness. So again, responsibility is to make things better for you and those around you. Okay. Once you have that on your shoulders, then the second thing is to go, right, how do we practically do that? Discipline equals freedom is the second principle to live by. And what I mean, what did we break that down to? Basically, discipline equals freedom. Move every day. That's it. Move every day. Like, for us, it's skipping. Like, anyone, you can go and find a space for skipping. Luckily, I don't know what the crack is back in Ireland, but, I have a park around the corner from my gaff. There's not really a lot of people there. So I go to the park and I'll do a body weight workout and I'll skip and I'll run outside of that. once it's full shutdown, I'll be doing sessions in my living room here, you know, but I'm moving every day regardless. I have to get something done. Okay. And when time is on our side, which it absolutely is right now, okay, they tell you, oh, that you don't have time, you're not making time. And what I mean by not making time is not making a decision throughout your day to exercise. It's having it done ahead of time. It's going, I'm waking up at this time tomorrow and I'm going to do my exercise within an hour of waking up. That would be the perfect start to your day. But the principle is discipline. Moving every day is how you are disciplined. When it comes to food, like in this time and space, what I would recommend is you're not eating fucking food to lose weight. You're eating a mental diet. So what I mean by a mental diet is eating for your headspace. Like the more sugar, the more shit you eat, the worse you're going to feel. So if you can ultimately understand that if the majority of your food is good, I hate the word healthy, but it's good, nutritious stuff, greens as best you can, you know what I mean? Like fucking batch cooking stuff with the family. Like we're making, you know, soups, we're making curries, we're, you know, like I'm doing stuff that lasts me a long time. I'm having greens. Sure, I might have bread. Sure, I might have a fucking treat every once in a while. But ultimately, like for the most part, I'm eating stuff that, you know, nourishes me and makes me feel good mentally. Those are the principles that you need to adopt in this time. It's so essential because if you don't, like I'm just telling you, you're gonna end up in the shit. Make the best of the bad hand. Don't fucking just go, oh, well, I got a 2 and a 4. Fuck this. You know, it's like, no, that's not what you want to be doing. You want to make the best of it. So, yeah, like use it as an opportunity because it is an opportunity. Use the time wisely because there is time. You know, it's a situation where you can make it worse or you can make it better. Do you have anything to to toss into the mix here, Petey, before we take it into the harbor?
I just take that with this is the absolute golden opportunity of you have to be at home and have your own time. Do you know what I mean? This isn't holidays that you're taking or time that you've earned up. This is time that every single person has to be at home. And you won't, we haven't got this chance before and you won't get this chance again. So just make the most of it. This is a good thing.
Exactly.
It really, really is. And that's why I'm looking at it. This is, and once that clicks, which it didn't click with me, I forced myself into it over a couple of days. Once that goes in, I'm telling you, I'm loving it. I am. It's just about the mindset.
And remember this, guys, that it's not your fault that we're here. It's not your fault that this shit's happening, but it is your responsibility to make it better. You know? And that's very important for all of us to take on board in life, in chefs in general. Like, it's not your fault that the industry does you the way it does you, but it's your responsibility to fix it. That's the truth. You know, and no one can step in and do that for you. You have to fucking be the one who takes that responsibility on your shoulders and sorts it out. And this situation is no fucking different. You know, you didn't ask to put in your gaff with your family or by yourself for a long period of time. I get it. But ultimately, it's on us. And that's a powerful thing. That's an empowering thing. We all think we're so fucking helpless and this is the worst thing in the world. Well, we have more power than we think. We just have to take the responsibility in order to get it. So, yeah, that's our thing. For
heavy is the head.
Yeah, 100%. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Podbean, 5-star review. Leave us a comment. Follow us on Podbean. If you're listening to this on iTunes, which I think 1.25 people might be, give us a 5-star review as well. And give us an old comment because it would be greatly appreciated. Share and like this if you see it somewhere. Share it with the chefs around you. Tag people in it. This podcast is extremely important during this time for chefs especially. So please support it as best you can. With that in mind, that is episode, Jesus, man, it's episode 50.
It's 49. You said 50 earlier on, but it's actually 49.
I'm telling you, it's 50. Hold on. I'll just check in the episodes that we did before. I'm fairly sure it's 50.
Yeah, let's do this live because we are brilliant at not knowing what episode it is. We had like four episode 19s.
49 is Corona making us question the industry. That was the last episode, man. It was 49. I fucking tell you, bro.
Ah, okay. All right. Let's go.
50 episodes, folks. Jesus Christ. Wow. Flying in. Good shit.
Happy 50th, bro. I tell you, it's one of the highlights of my week. No mess.
Your coffee rinds out of the bottle. Look at that. That's fucking. Oh, just spilled coffee all over my laptop. Jesus.
Oh, no. Here we go again, lads. Watch this. Watch
Oh,
this. This happened 3 weeks ago. He was like, the fuck does my dad know? He's telling me what to do. I'll put my coffee wherever. Oh, bollocks.
right. Still recording. Right, let's end it. Chefs, thanks a million. Stay safe. Let me clean my laptop.
Peace.
Good.